Hi, I'm Scott Fox. It's time for another website tune-up community clinic. Today we're going to be talking about the website of Masterminds member Patrick. It's this one, Alternative Cancer Treatments That Work. I'm going to be spending the next 15 or 20 minutes reviewing this site, offering suggestions on how I think Patrick can improve his sales, his usability, his sign-ups for his email list, and a whole bunch of other stuff, all as a benefit of his membership at ClickMillionaire's Masterminds Forum. So if you'd like a review like this of your website, you can come join us at Masterminds or visit expertwebsitereviews.com and we'll be happy to hook you up with one. Well, Patrick, I think it's a very nice site. Let's talk through it. You've gotten a lot of fantastic advice already from our fellow Masterminds members in the private Masterminds forum. Particular thanks goes out to Brian and Jackie and Kim and Connie and Kevin. A bunch of folks have chimed in, and I think they've given you some very good suggestions to help you focus. And I think that is the operational word today, Patrick, is focus. Let's figure out how you can focus your energies here to make you some more money while you're also helping others. Of course, this is the kind of site I really like because I really do think, as Brian put it, your heart's in the right place. You're really trying to help people, and you have identified a niche need that I think is very important and that they want your help with based on your personal experience as a cancer survivor. I think this is a great place to start, and I think you've done a fine job in this website. But, of course, I think there's a lot of room for improvement. So let's step it up and talk about what those areas for improvement are together here today. Did you pick a good niche? I think you did. It's based on personal experience. There's a huge demand for this, and it's clear that there are at least some alternatives to modern medicine that are worth discussing for folks who are faced with the specter of cancer. So I think you're on the right track there. Your other two big questions were about the look and feel of the site, and we'll get into that because I think there's a number of things that can be adjusted to improve it. And your other one, of course, is let me quote here, am I correctly stirring the visitors toward my most wanted response of buying my ebooks? And that is a big no. So we'll hit that one pretty hard here. And you said all constructive criticism is welcome. Don't save your punches. Okay, so look out, my friend. Now, of course, I'm not going to be mean, but I'm going to be specific here. And I think there's a lot of things you can do here to build on the great foundation you have. So let's get to work. Now, up at the top, you can see I've set the camera to set right up here at Alternative Cancer Treatments That Work. Your header banner, very nice, tasteful, taller than it needs to be. One of your challenges in web design these days is getting everything you want above the fold so that people don't have to scroll much. You're wasting a lot of white space with this big banner. Second thought about the banner, more on a general basis, is maybe it could be more medical. I mean, I like these circles, are very tasteful, the colors are nice, etc. But it could have a medical background of some sort that suggested a little more medical credibility. That's more a taste choice for you, and depends on how much you want to spend on graphics, of course, but it's a thought. This is the most striking part of your website, and you're going pretty low-key here. A lot of white space, a simple font here, and some little purple circles. There's room to do more there. Okay, next. I'm just going to move right down vertically down the page here and pick this apart a bit, again in an attempt to be helpful. This menu bar, way too much stuff on here. If you want to drive people toward a specific goal, you've got to figure out what those goals are and focus everything on this page and every other page on those goals. So if your goals, as you said in your email, are to buy the ebooks, join your newsletter, or get a consultation from you, then that's what I want to see up here. You've got way too much information here that is really distracting for folks and doesn't drive towards your desired outcomes. Now, I know it's all good information, and it looks like you've spent an awful lot of time researching it. I have to say there's lots of information on this site, and it looks really helpful. But this is one of those questions of, your heart versus commerce. If you want to make money, you got to tilt this a little more towards being specific about desired outcomes. And I think you kind of sense that, which is why you asked for this review. So what would I do? Well, I would cut the number of things in this menu bar like in half. Certainly your about and your contact and your suppliers, all this can be below the fold. Way down here, I would put them in the footer, or maybe in this menu over here in the left-hand sidebar. You're chewing up a lot of space there anyway. And in fact, a lot of that repeats, right? You don't need all this stuff here and then also across the top. It's really distracting for a user and for you even probably to administrate the site, right? So I would figure out what your top priorities are, and I think we enumerated those largely already, and get rid of as much of this as you can. And in the cases where you have pull downs with multiple choices, this is too many choices, especially when they're repeated right here beneath that, right? So I would go with one or the other. Your objective as a web designer and a user, for both for sales and for just your general usability, is to get as much money-making or money-provoking, money-attracting material just above the fold, so that when somebody lands, this space is used really well, and it drives them towards a limited number of choices. And that's the key here, a limited number of choices. 2 or 3 choices or paths are what I would be thinking about. Think about a hierarchy of what you truly want folks to do, and reorient everything around those 2 or 3 objectives. And what's great is that you have 2 or 3 in mind already, and I agree with those 3. Buy an ebook, join the newsletter, or participate in social media, or get a consultation. Those are great. Now, the whole thing about your other point, buying products from affiliate suppliers, I'm a big fan of affiliate marketing. I make a lot of money from it myself and have for years, so I'm fully on board with affiliate marketing, unless it competes with your own products. Now, I looked around the site quite a bit. You've got all kinds of information here like we talked about, and here I just clicked on this one at random. Like this, you're pushing this meditation course very nicely, attractive. Here's some aromatherapy oils. Here's a hobby. This is another article you wrote about how to find a hobby, which is very cleverly leads to a site builder promotion. And then EFT, which I gather you actually practice or consult on yourself. But that's a whole grab bag of stuff. People are going in 4 different directions, and these offers, at least as far as I can guess, are not worth the same amount to Patrick. And the idea here is to turn Patrick into a click millionaire, so I think you need to rethink a lot of these affiliate offers and remove them, because you have other offers that presumably are making you a lot more money, like your books. And your books are buried way down here. See, this is $49, $50 for what I presume is it's an ebook, right? So $50 is pretty much pure profit for you. I'm certain that that is a better payoff than you're going to get from a lot of those other affiliate offers. And then you're going to have the contact information here. One of the problems with affiliate marketing is when you send someone off to an affiliate offer, they may make the sale over there and send you a check, but you've lost the customer. If you sell them your own stuff, I presume, and if not, we'll talk about it in the Masterminds forum, this is your first book, and there should be follow-up books available. So there's a whole other discussion to be had there about maybe $50 is too much. Maybe your first one should only be $9.95, but that's only the first couple chapters. And then once you have that person engaged, you upsell them to the $50 or the $150 or $500 one. That's how this is often done. Not selling just one product for $50, but having a whole ladder of products that you can sell people, and then once you get them engaged in a buying relationship, you upsell them to further products. Now that's a whole shift for you strategically, so we won't go into that anymore here, but I'd be happy to talk about it in the Masterminds forum since you're a member. So my point is, a lot of this stuff in your menus and all these menus, as much as you want to help other people, fantastic. If you want to do this as a hobby, go to town. Talk about it all day, blog about it, promote it on Twitter and Facebook, whatever. But if you want to make money, I would focus on the things that make you the most money. And unfortunately, get rid of that other stuff. And I say unfortunately because maybe it won't help other people. But if you really believe in one of those other products and you can make good money, well, maybe that's better for you to sell than your own ebooks. It's up to you. It's a profitability question and really a heart question. What do you think is going to give the most value to your audience? Okay, and I think if you digest that, and we can talk about it again in the forum, it will help you restructure this whole site, because there's tons of information, but not all of it is of equal value to you or to your visitors, and you need to prioritize what is most important to you. And that's kind of a virtuous cycle, of course, with what's valuable to your visitors. Then they buy more, then you want to promote more. There's that kind of thing going on. But you've got to kind of figure it out. And I think where you're going is this, right? Alternative cancer treatment saved my life. And I love this picture of you. It's smiling, it's open, you look healthy, you look happy, you even look a little medical in this white outfit, and looks, I'm not sure, these are probably cocktail glasses on the glass there in front of you, but they're, it all looks kind of medical-esque, which is, not a bad ambiance to have if you're talking about medical issues. So I think this is good. You've optimized this, obviously, for search engines. But this, I think, is your point. And what I think you need to do is squeeze this a little tighter above the fold, and then get busy with your offers. Your offers are what? Are they all this stuff? No. All this stuff, the join my blog, blog lines, my Yahoo? No. I would get rid of all that. In fact, join my blog doesn't even make sense grammatically. You don't join a blog, you read a blog, or you join an email list. You don't join a blog. And then there's a question mark in front of it. So this line, I'd get rid of that. Sorry, not all of that. Just this. Doesn't make any sense. And then this stuff, these are antiquated. I think blog lines went out of business years ago, in fact. I mean, I haven't used it since 2010 at least. So this is old school. I'd get rid of it. This might be part of the site build templates, by the way, and some of their stuff is kind of old, and I would get rid of it. This in particular, especially because you've put it in this such important, this is your upper right corner. This is where your most valuable thing should be. And you're close, because I think your most valuable thing is this one, to join the newsletter. And that should move up and get rid of that other stuff, okay? This is your big one. You know, you want your intro here of you and your story, which is important. Then you want your newsletter, and then right beneath that, here and here, should be your books. Actually, one should be books and one should be consultations. And that's it. Okay, that's it. You've distracted people to death with all these huge menus, and then, you know, this is very nice, of course. Don't give up hope, etc. Nice graphic, great. But you're not going to make any money from that, right? I know you say your objective is to, you know, encourage people into a dialogue. Okay, if that's the case, then ask for the dialogue. There's no anything here. This is all just what we call happy talk in the design business. This is just happy talk. It's very happy, but it's not going to make you any friends. It's not going to make you any money. It's not going to make anybody come back. This is essentially wasted space without some sort of call to action, right? So figure out what the call to action is for this, or get rid of it. Moving on down. You've got this great big ad from Wendy Banting, and you've got her both in the middle there and in the right column here. Wendy Banting's getting more press for herself and her books than Patrick is. Look, very nice ad. Oh, is that the book I'm supposed to buy? No, Patrick's books are way down here. These need to move way, way up, okay? Up towards the top where people can see them and can be encouraged to buy them right away, okay? And that would rearrange, even if you just put these above Wendy, that would be fine. But you're trying too hard to give yourself credibility, I think, here. People either buy this kind of stuff, and I don't mean just the books, I mean the whole concept, or they don't, right? Some people are just straight up the line, they want traditional medical treatments, and they're not interested. You're not going to convince those people anyway. The people that really need this are, unfortunately, often the ones at the end of the rope, right? And they're just looking for anything, and I think you're off to a decent start here. I would think about some credibility enhancers while I'm talking about it, like some seals of guarantee, or if you have a Better Business Bureau logo, or you know, a nice star from your credit card company, or just anything you can, you know, a top blogger thing, or something to help you look like there's some third-party endorsement of this stuff. And I don't mean just Wendy or other clients. I mean some like organization. You know, down here in the footer or in your About Us pages, some third-party badges would be, I think, really helpful to this. But this whole Wendy thing, out of here. Or at least, you know, it should be this big, you know, like an inch high, with a link off to all this stuff. You're chewing up most of your homepage with something that gets you, is not going to make you any money anyway. Okay, so I'd like to see this gone, the newsletter moved up, your books here, your consultations here, and that could be pretty much the end of the homepage, frankly. Because a homepage is not, there's two kinds of homepages. There's either the grab the customer and sell them something, or grab the customer for their contact information, like they call that a lead page. So you got a sell page or a lead page, or you have kind of a welcome to my world, here's what I've got for you sort of introduction page. And I think you're going for that third point, right? In which case, you probably also want above the fold here a little more prominently some of the stuff about come and join me on Facebook and why you have a cool Facebook group and you can help people and so forth. A lot of this is about rearranging, and you have just so much white space. Look at all this blank space here, all this space here. All this stuff could be compressed and you'll get a lot more bang out of this. And I'd like to see your homepage, like your menus, like half as long so that you can get to the point, because that's what everybody wants. They want to get to the point. Now, a couple other more specific examples here. This book looks nice. It's too subtle, this little join my newsletter thing. It's kind of an what is that, kind of a purplish type, but it disappears when you roll over it. That's got to be your offer. Bang! I would pay somebody to make a nice graphic. I mean, the book is good, but you at least need to bold this text. That's your biggest offer. You want to keep in touch with people. Getting their email is much more valuable than having them join your Facebook group, because you can keep emailing them stuff. Even if all you're emailing is to come join my Facebook group, you can keep emailing them. That's the most important thing on the page to me. Click to join our newsletter. And, oh, this was weird. What does explicitly request a free copy? Explicitly request? I've never seen that before. If you want to give them a free copy, give them a free copy. And then this is, what is your request? Well, you already told me to sign up. I think that this, you're trying to make them say back, I want an ebook. I don't know why you're doing that. It's off-putting. Either give them the book or don't. And I think do is the idea. I would definitely do. Now you notice how that popped out a separate window? You have that on a lot of places on the site. So I would try not to do that. If you want people to stay focused, I would keep them in the same window and not be popping out windows, unless you're going out to an affiliate offer or something. But if you can reduce those to replacing the own window, that will help your usability a lot. So click to join our news. Now, is it our? Most everything else you have is in the first person. So isn't it my? And then if you roll over this, where is it? See the tooltip? No, where is it? I saw it here. Yeah, we enforce a strict. Oh, it's off the screen for you, but strict is misspelled in that tooltip, which does not help your credibility, of course. So this ad, you've got the right idea. It's the right size. It can get attention, but it's got to be sexier, right? You need some graphics. You need some clearer offers of what do you get and why this newsletter is important. And the free ebook is so cool, you got to sign up right now. All right, so we can work on that again in the forum if you'd like, but I hope that's helpful. It's the right concept. Now, let's see. I'm not pulling my punches. I hope this is helpful. You had some stuff about consultations down here. Now, this is very interesting. It doesn't say much about consultations here, though, right? The only place I actually see the word consultation is all the way here. And this, and it's here, but this is a very generic graphic. I would spend the time to make a picture of yourself like you're on Skype talking to somebody. You need to illustrate this. This is just too generic, and it's white on white. It's too subtle. Your message here is nice, but this just needs a little more pizzazz. Again, too much white space also. This whole thing should not, this takes a whole screen. This should be about an inch high with a cool headline, consult with me via Skype, anywhere, anytime. And then some words, you know, I'm Patrick, and, you know, we can get acquainted on Facebook and sign up here. Here's how much it costs. Go. And then you drive them to another page, as you do elsewhere, but this is over in your consultations page. This is good. This is better. But suddenly you're talking about macrobiotics, which is a bit of a switch. You haven't mentioned that. I don't think that's on the homepage at all. So if macrobiotics is your solution, then maybe you should do that. But this kind of idea is what is, you're doing the right thing on the homepage. You're setting up the cell and then hopefully closing it here. And here's one of the few places on the whole site where I see an Order Now button. This is eye-catching. It's pretty. I don't know where you got this, but you're offering payments even, et cetera, et cetera. And this is what you need more of everywhere. A call to action, we call that, CTA. So I would think about, again, your 3 or 4 things, which I think are get the newsletter, get the email address, newsletter sign up, promote the books, promote the consultations, and what was the other one? Oh, Facebook, right? And every one of those needs something as pretty as this. So order now, buy now, call me now, learn more, sign up, whatever it is. Pop, pop, pop. You've got to pop, because everybody else online is going to be distracted. You know, if you don't get them in the first 30 or 60 seconds, they're going to be off to YouTube or off to Twitter or off to Facebook, you know, and forget that they were ever here. So you got to get to that. Now, since we're here, I want to pick on the footer a little bit. This sort of footer of Facebooking and tweeting, this is, I think, a site build it module. This is very old school. It just looks old-fashioned. I'd get rid of it. Nobody uses those anymore. If you want people to come and join you on Facebook, which I think they should, I think you should invest $5 on Fiverr or $50 at Logo Nerds and get a cool Facebook graphic made. I didn't go to look at your Facebook group, but that should have its own logo. And that logo should be here so that it's reflected in the graphic appeal from here to there, right? And they should mirror each other and drive traffic back and forth. This sort of standard text-based box is at least 3 or 4 years out of date, maybe 10. Well, not 10. I'm exaggerating. Maybe 5. Okay, and then these these were nice. Testimonials are always a good idea if you can do that, especially with the pictures. And hey, maybe this is this. Are you using easygraphicsmaker.com? That's one of my products, easygraphicsmaker.com. I hope you are. And if you're not, and you like this sort of thing, you should sign up. easygraphicsmaker.com. You can create graphics like this so easily, and they can really help a sales page online. Okay, so are we making sense? Wow, we're over 20 minutes already. I hope this is helpful for you. I wanted to talk, let's see, a little bit about the About Me, I think is, oh, and this disclaimers. Let's do that real quick. As talked about in the forum, we have a medical doctor who's a member. I thought he was really helpful and fair and friendly in his comments, so thanks to Brian for that. These disclaimers are good. You got to be serious about this stuff, though, right? I don't know what the liabilities are where you live, especially since you're in the Philippines. It probably would be difficult for people to sue you from the United States, for example. But still, you got to button this stuff up tight, just so you don't get hurt. And honestly, you don't want anybody to get hurt, right? Your heart's in the right place here. So I would pay some extra attention on this. It might be worth at least looking at several other more big-time, like corporate professional medical sites and really bearing down on that legalese and posting it here, or even hiring an attorney to do that for you. You're in a gray area. A lot of this stuff is unregulated, and I don't want to see you get hurt when you're just trying to help people. Then, the About Us. The About is the key here, I think. You really are the guy. That's another nice picture of you. You're a handsome fella, and you should really work this. You look healthy and fit. I think this is good stuff. I would spread that around a little more. And not be shy. I would standardize the sizes, though. The jump between that small one and this bigger one is a little disconcerting. It looks a little unprofessional, so I would try to standardize your sizes. One of the things I wanted to point out, and this is just a small one, you're given your birth date here, and you say 1991. You say this even on the home page. 1991 is a long time ago, especially on the internet. So it dates everything you're saying. Now, in most cases, that would just be totally bad news, right? It's like, this guy is so out of date, I don't care what he has to say. In your case, I can see the logic, right? You're saying not only did this happen, but I'm still here and kicking, and I've survived, right? So I have credibility because of this long-term period of advice that you can base your experience on. It's still, though, it hangs me up, and to hit it on the very first page, you're talking about something that's 23 years ago. Medicine has changed, the world has changed. It would call into question to me immediately how old the site is. Not necessarily that your experience is invalid, although I would question that because, like I said, medicine's moved a lot. But it makes me think, is this site, as the first thing I come on a site, this site, the first thing I see is 1991. This site it would make me think, wow, this site is more than 20 years old. I'm out of here. So I think you should probably hide the date, both certainly here and maybe on the About Us page as well, and maybe just be a little more generic about it. So I was only 40 years of age at the time, and now you're obviously more than 40 in this picture. Let them do the math. It's just a little off-putting. Okay? What else? Okay, so the right sidebar was bugging me. On the home page, you have this, which we need to get rid of. You've got this, which is a good idea but needs some refinement. And then you've got this huge thing, this promo for this Wendy Banting's book, I guess. But when you go on the interior pages, there's nothing else there. In the right sidebar, and that's a real waste. So I would think about what do you want to put in these sidebars that can show up on every page. And the obvious candidate is not this stuff, but it is the updated and sexier sign up for my email newsletter. That should be on every page. Now I would like to suggest that you also add the sign up for the email up here. I want you to get rid of most of this stuff. Perhaps you could get rid of all of it actually, because it looks like it's all repeated here on the left. But if you could build an email offer in up here in your top in your sidebar or here, that should be everywhere. And if there isn't more stuff here, then I'd consider getting rid of this third rail, right? This left sidebar, it just makes all your stuff narrower and longer. And it makes the site is incredibly text heavy anyway. And if you were to make it wider, a lot of these cool graphics, these are cool graphics, they should be up higher, right? And maybe you just get rid of this third rail over here, third column is the word I'm looking for. All right, well, that was kind of a laundry list of stuff, but I hope you got the idea that I think you've got some great material here. I think prioritizing what you're doing is your key problem here. Pick 2 or 3 or at most 4 topics and push those, and then ask for the sale. You need those pretty buttons. call to action for each one of them and get rid of the rest of the stuff. Unless you just want to put it on your blog or somewhere. That was one of my questions. Your blog isn't even here, right? So if you're doing the blogging work that I know you're doing, yeah, join my blog. What does that one do? Okay, so here's your blog. If you're going to go to the trouble of blogging, then I would make a bigger deal of that. It's not in any of these stuff. It's buried under this about. If you're going to be blogging, my friend, and spending all that time, I would at least put it right up here, you know, see my latest entries and stuff. And that would also help people realize that the site isn't 20-some years old. So the blog's a lot of work, but to just have it down here, I don't think is doing yourself justice for all that work, okay? All right, so that's a whole bunch of stuff. Probably raised as many questions as it answered, but I hope you get the idea that reprioritization, I think, could help you a lot. It will help you with the layout. We can clean up a little, and it will help you, as you said, stir your visitors towards your most wanted responses and make you some money while you're helping people. And that's a great Click Millionaires approach. I appreciate that your heart is in this, and I'm really glad that you're still with us and that you survived this stuff. It's fantastic that you have this information to share with people, and I know people want to hear it. So I please hope that you will keep sharing it, and we're happy to talk about as much of any of this, either in small detail or large strategy, in the Masterminds Forum, because you're a member there. In fact, you're a Featured Member Award winner. Thanks for all your participation recently. I think you just won one of our Featured Member Awards, so your membership's been free. And anybody else that's watching this video, if you're looking for help with alternative cancer treatments, please head over to my friend Patrick's website. And if you'd like a video like this one for yourself, I'm Scott Fox. I run expertwebsitereviews.com. I can do one for you to help clean up your website, help you make some more money. Or come on over, of course, to clickmillionaires.com, our free forum, or upgrade to our Masterminds forum at mastermindsforum.com. Be happy to help you as much as I can, along with our staff and friends like Patrick from around the world. Thanks for watching. Leave us a comment if this is helpful for you or if you think I missed anything. Bye-bye now.